This video is obviously from a meta perspective. If there is a character you would like, I'd recommend just pulling for them instead and enjoy the game. But if you would like some meta analysis on top of that, here we go. In phase 1, we have Sunday and Jing Yuan. I've said this a lot of times now, but Sunday is like a Bronya alternative, but for summons. He also has energy regen and better SP usage than Bronya, which allows him to be more comfortably played with Robin. Due to his synergy to Robin in the sense that he makes room for Robin to shine better, Sunday is a very strong unit because Robin is just the best unit in the game, and Sunday kind of enables her. I do not think you should be playing him solo without Robin unless it's a Jing Yuan team. And if you are a Jing Yuan main, Sunday is a must pull for you, no doubt about that. If you are, however, interested in Jing Yuan instead and you want to pull him, it's a lot more awkward for you because you really want to get Sunday, which means pulling 2 5 stars at the same time. And I really do not recommend pulling Jing Yuan without Sunday. Like in my previous video, I've showed that just changing Bronya to Sunday in the Jing Yuan team can more than double his damage, almost triple actually. I think if you are a new player, you may feel the effects of not having Sunday less, but Jing Yuan without Sunday is kind of like eating ramen without noodles and soup. It's just kinda stupid, it doesn't really work. Which is why I would recommend getting Sunday first and then getting Jing Yuan on the rerun if you really like him. Because if you get Sunday now, there is a pretty good chance based on the direction Stario is taking that he will be very good even in 3.0 patches and is already very strong in pre-existing teams with Robin, making him a pretty good pull. For the second phase, we have Fugue and Firefly. Fugue is also a really strong break support because she is able to give enemies a second weaker toughness bar, super break damage, defense reduction for a single ally, and a rainbow AoE break on her ultimate. I've seen some people say there isn't a synergy between Firefly and Fugue, which is completely false. Fugue still provides a ton of damage to Firefly just by providing a second toughness bar. I've also gone over this in a previous video, so check that out if you don't quite understand what Exo Toughness does. But other than Firefly, Fugue is also insanely good for Rappa, Woodhill, Himeko, and even Shui. They have a lot of synergy as Fugue seems to be able to give Woodhill 2 pocket trick shots. I'm not sure if this is changed in the beta because previously it was not. But even if that wasn't the case, it still gives Woodhill so much damage, so it doesn't really matter. Exo Toughness also basically doubles Rappa's, Himeko's and Shuei's talent damage as they rely on extra breaking or toughness reduction for more damage. Which is why if you want even more damage or clear speed for super break units, I would highly recommend pulling for Fugue. Obviously right now you may feel like your super break teams can already clear comfortably, but I think it's still definitely going to be a pretty good investment, especially if your team is quite free-to-play friendly. You don't really have a lot of investment in terms of Edegons and signature light cones. If you have E1, E2 or something like that, you can maybe still skip her and pull for her later, but otherwise I think Fugue is definitely not going to be a bad choice. Next we have Firefly, who I believe needs little to no introduction. She is a very strong super break carry that even has Fire Implant, which allows her to be played in more scenarios than usual. I believe the community's perception of Firefly is that she is still one of the best damage carries that we currently have, and I agree as well. It definitely also helps that her team is relatively free-to-play friendly. If you have run Mei and you are in need of another damage carry, Firefly is obviously a really good pick because Harmony MC and Gallagher are completely free-to-play units. The best case scenario is obviously to pull both Firefly and Fugue at the same time, but obviously that can be hard for most players, so if you really need a DPS, you get Firefly first, and if you already have pre-existing super break carries, I would recommend Fugue instead. Alternatively, you could save for the 3.0 units, but before we get into them, don't forget to subscribe or even like the video. Moving on, we have Aglaea and The Herta. I don't want to get too into detail because it's leaked territory and it can obviously change drastically depending on Hoyoverse vision for the game, so I'll just give you like a brief summary. The Herta is kind of like the erudition DPS that Jade is a support for. She is insanely strong against many enemies and relies on having a second erudition teammate for maximum damage. Aglaea is extremely unique and really isn't anything we've seen before. This is obviously a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that it could be start of a new meta, niche, team, so there may be better supports down the line. The bad thing is that Aglaea has less supports. pre-existing supports with very good synergy. Well, other than Robin and Sunday, I guess. She is almost like a hunt unit mixed with a destruction unit that has a summon. Her summon can get an insane amount of speed and obviously a very high frequency of attacks, but so far it seems that her attacks are AoE as well, which is why destruction. There definitely isn't a correct way to go about your pulls, but if you have heavily invested in summons or hypercarries like with Robin, Sunday is a great pull, and if you have heavily invested in Super Break, for example Buteo, Rappa, Firefly and so on, Fugue is kind of a no-brainer. I think Sunday will be good with Aglaea because she seems to be quite reliant on her ultimate, which means, you know, energy regeneration is quite useful, and the damage boost for the summon is quite huge as well, so you could do stuff like pulling for Sunday and then trying to pull Aglaea one patch later. The Herta is really the only odd one out, as her playstyle is completely different. I know a lot of people like to shit on Erudition because haha it's only for pure fiction, whatever. I really beg to differ because Apocalyptic Shadow has a ton of AoE stages, and now they've shown that they are willing to put 5 target enemies in Memory of Chaos as well. I feel like Erudition stocks are definitely slowly on the rise, but obviously you still have an entire patch and a half to think about it, so you can take your time. There will obviously be reruns alongside them as well, and I do not know who these characters are, but I think the only character that will drastically change your pulling plans is Robin if you don't already have her, or maybe you want to get E1 or S1. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching and see you.